Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. 5 progressive groups, mostly trending younger, are calling on Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to, quote, fight for us or step aside, unquote. In a letter to the senator, the organizations, well, they make clear they want more aggressive leadership. And Senate Democrats and the group wrote, quote, if you want our support, it's time to get bolder, get louder, or make way for leadership who will. Oriana González and Margaret Talev join me now. Oriana is a reporter at NOTUS. Remember NOTUS, News of the U.S.? Margaret is the director of Syracuse University's Institute for Democracy, Journalism, and Citizenship. Great to have you both with me. Thanks. Oriana, I want to start with you because you have a bit of reporting very recently about the Trump administration taking its sweet time to make a decision about pending legal matters and the future of the abortion pill, otherwise known as mifepristone.
It's very relevant because they have not, the Trump's Justice Department has not hesitated to become involved in major legal battles.
As we've seen, yes.
Exactly, but abortion pills, it's kind of a very interesting subject because it's one that Trump wanted to avoid during the campaign trail. And we're seeing that again repeat itself now. There are a total of around 5 federal cases that revolve around abortion pills, and the majority of those, the Trump administration asked for a 2-month extension to, quote, familiarize itself with the case. And so that's ideally 2 months for the entire administration to decide what to do on a topic that they haven't been very clear on.
You mentioned how the Trump campaign, specifically former President Trump, during the campaign, tried to walk gingerly around this topic. Let's see him talk to Kristen Welker of NBC on this very topic back during the campaign.
Will you restrict the availability of abortion pills when you're in office?
I'll probably stay with exactly what I've been saying for the last 2 years, and the answer is no.
Slight amendment. That's in December after he won. He was president-elect at the time, but that's indicative of what you were talking about.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he really wanted to say, I'm not blocking, I'm not doing this, I'm not going to ban it. But what we saw with the confirmation hearings with this, and as well with this 2-month extension, was this idea of he wants his picks to evaluate the safety of abortion pills. Granted, abortion pills have been found to be safe and effective by the FDA. And so when he's talking about that safety, it could be reimposing all of these restrictions that abortion pills used to have.
And Margaret, for those who are very close to this issue, this wait-and-see period is not reassuring.
Well, no, of course not. I mean, most abortion procedures in the United States are medical abortions. You take a pill, it's not a surgical.
50% of them, at least, yeah.
And public support for this is huge. And this was, those assurances that he gave were a predicate for some of the voters, especially women voters, who said, I'm voting on pocketbook issues. I trust him better to
or immigration
reduce
or something
inflation,
else, right?
Or it could be border controls or whatever. So I think if this becomes an entry point to going back on that commitment or almost commitment, it could be really problematic for Republicans in the midterm elections. There's also a middle option where they don't block access to abortion pills, but they leave the door open to do it in the future. So I think...
Or they require you to go to a doctor in person to get it, as opposed to other more convenient ways recently introduced. I want to talk about something that's been running around town this week, a kind of a online focus group done with Michigan voters, swing voters, voted for Trump, that are having some reassessment. And the thing I want to show the audience right now is kind of a mashup of their assessment of Elon Musk. Let's listen.
He wasn't elected to do anything. Like, I don't understand his position. It's a made-up position that they made.
He just laid too many people off too quickly here. I just think it's unfortunate that he's been given this much power.
I agree that there is a lot of waste that needs to be taken care of within the government, but I just don't see how Elon Musk is in a level of knowledge to be able to do anything about it.
So you have Elon Musk, and also you have this ongoing conversation about the future of Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
Democrats are very focused on him, and even some Republicans are maybe having some reassessment of Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's right. What you were just showing there, these are swing voters from Michigan. Axios works with, and I'm in my role with Axios, I'm part of these focus groups every month with blocks of swing voter groups. These were Michigan voters who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 and then went to Donald Trump just 3 months ago. And what we saw in these panels was that out of the 13 people that we talked to, 10 of them now disapprove of Trump's performance. A lot of it has to do with the economy. They're worried about tariffs. Of course, they're in a state that borders Canada. Many of them work in or around the auto industry. But part of it also is the ferocity and the sort of chainsaw approach to the federal cuts led by Elon. Many of them saying this isn't what they thought they were voting for. And our moderator pushed back and said, well, why wouldn't you think that's what you were voting for? Donald Trump promised to do this before he got reelected.
He said it over and over in some cases.
We didn't think he was going to move this far, this fast. This isn't what we thought he was going to do. Some real discomfort, both on these economic points and on the not just the empowerment of Musk, but the federal cuts in general and how they might relate to the economy in their future.
And how's Chuck Schumer doing in terms of favorability?
Poorly. Okay, so I mean, you tease this in your segment. So there is a massive uprising inside the Democratic Party. It's not only by young progressives who want to be more aggressive and bring the fight. It's also with what I would say are much more centrist leaders who are just reading the writing on the wall. And because I think what's going on, Major, is that there are a few things. One is, what are the policies of the Democratic Party and how are they going to block and tackle Donald Trump? But another is age and the messenger. And I think in many ways, Democrats are looking at Joe Biden and wishing that someone in their party had done something to engineer a different nominee earlier. And
talk about buyer's remorse.
And trying to get ahead now in time for the midterms.
Oriana, you're nodding your head. Your thoughts?
I'm thinking,
based on your reporting?
Well, I'm thinking also what I've seen in Congress, right? During this recess, we saw Delia Ramirez in the House the Representative Delia Ramirez become the second House Democrat to come in and say that she thinks that Schumer should step down. Now, we know that the Senate, and particularly Schumer, doesn't exactly, respond to House Democratic critiques.
No.
But something that NOTUS...
Can't ignore them, though.
Absolutely, but the NOTUS reported this morning, actually, that Michael Bennet, the senator from Colorado, kind of alluded to it. He said that Democrats will be having conversations around leadership and that leaders should know when to step down. And that's something that we cannot ignore.
From a 60-year-old in Colorado. So.
Exactly. Lots of family conversations are going to be going on in the Senate Democrats. Oriana González, Margaret Talev, thank you so very much.
Thanks, Major.